Okay. All right. Good morning. This is what inspiration looks like. This humble combination of adapters is something that you can use, for instance, to have this microphone connect with a phone. While I was experimenting with that connection of using this microphone with my phone, this happened. So what was kind of just an in the moment jam ended up kind of stuck in my head. Like the melody was like pretty nice. So what I did was I followed it through. Let's jump into Ableton Live, my DAW of choice when it comes to like music production. So it all started with this upright piano that I actually recorded with this microphone here. It's like an inexpensive tube microphone, but I like what it does to kind of the high-end spectrum of sounds. So this is what we have. Just a little bit of EQ, quite a lot of compression. And then this is something that I really have enjoyed lately. I just recently bought this. This is the Atlantis Dual Chambers by Softtube, which is something like, to my mind, it sounds a little bit like something in between like a plate reverb, a slapback delay, and like a very, like a medium-sized lively room. And that combination to me is like really beautiful. So here's without it. And here's with it. I might have overdone the reverb a bit there, but like it doesn't matter yet because we're in just the writing phase. So then I ended up layering that with these synth drones, kind of mid-rangey drone, which was made with this thing. It's a Moog emulation synth, which I really like. A monophonic one, beautiful sounding, with Portal, and then my favorite distortion saturation plugin, New Distort. Same thing with this, which is just an octave lower, just playing, I believe, a D. Same thing, same combination of effects, but it's the same combination of effects, but with added, I made this kind of fake Leslie cabinet kind of thing that just modulates the sound a little bit in the stereo field, bass, monoed, and then even more saturation by PSP Micro Warmer, which sounds awesome. Yeah, and it compresses the thing quite a bit. And then there's this high drone thing, again played with the Moog emulation, but I wanted this sound to sound almost like a really distorted guitar that's just like going back in the background. So then I came up with this bass part, which is just my trusty old humble Squier jazz bass going straight into my interface. And then and then with not a lot of actual compression, but just like using this as a distortion or saturation effect. Without. And then I really like this Ableton stock device. It's called Color Limiter. It's just, I guess it's trying to emulate some sort of like a vintage, more vintage limiter. And there's this saturation thing, which I really like. And there's this kind of a color tilt EQ kind of thing that you can darken the sound a bit, or you can like brighten it up. And I wanted to brighten this up because I really wanted all the interaction of like my fingers to like really cut through. And this is the crucial part. When I start to follow an idea, if the melody or the rhythm or the sound textures of something sparks a vocal melody and preferably some lyrics, then I know that I'm in a really good spot. And then I kind of like feel like I have kind of found a way into a song. Once the initial like recording, the phone recording kind of settled in my mind, this is something that I heard. So, as you can hear, there's a lot of bleed because I had my monitors on while I was singing through this. This is a Telefunken MD21. There is a modern version of this microphone being made currently. I haven't tried that one, but this is from the 60s and I really like the sound. And this is a pretty weird microphone because this is an omnidirectional dynamic microphone. I guess this was originally made as kind of a reporter microphone, so you would use like a tape recorder and then you would like interview people. And what the omnidirectional part of this microphone does especially is that no matter how close or how far you get sort of the same kind of sound. So the proximity effect isn't like that big when it comes to like these kinds of microphones, which are like cardioid pattern. The closer you get to this microphone, the more bass in your voice, and the further you get, the thinner the voice gets. But with this microphone, it's like relatively even across, like no matter like how you hold the microphone, which is really cool because I use this for like scratch vocals. So no matter how I'm holding the microphone, it sort of like captures the voice in a pretty pleasing way. And even though I use this for like scratch vocals, I like the sound of this microphone so much that more often than not, I tend to use this as the main microphone. But anyway, as you might have heard, there's this like bit of like left to right fluctuation in the voice. If you look at this, what I'm doing is I'm automating the out balance of the reverb, so the left and right channel get kind of like modulate between the left and right ear. I just found that to be like quite pleasing and interesting way to add like a bit of like interest in this sort of like somber, like slow moving melody. What I might do after this is to emphasize that with like some sort of like a stereo delay, that it like emphasizes rhythmically the changes in the left and right speakers. Here's what we have up until now. So yeah. What I would probably do after this, because it was played without a metronome, I would like probably put a click track and map that out and play the bass and the piano according to that. So it would be a little bit more structured, but obviously trying to keep it a little bit more loose because I really like this sort of slow tumbling thing. But I find that that this demo is like it's a bit too fast, so I'll probably slow it down a bit. And what I would do also would be to play these two drones, play them according to the root of the song. So the note would change with the chord changes just to like keep the harmonic waves of the song and all the instruments cohesive. So I think that might be a good thing. And then even though I really like this kind of motif that is like going through, this is only one part, so I might challenge myself to like try to write another part for this song, because I think it could like lead up to this. Like I find that this is a chorus, but I wouldn't probably repeat the chorus. I would only introduce the chorus at the end, so it would just like swell into the ending that is just like this big long chorus. So wherever you find your inspiration, I would encourage you to just like immediately walk that path and just like follow it through for as long as you can, because you get only one shot at being inspired for the first time, and all these ideas are like fresh, so produce as much material as you can in the first session that you have, because the editing part that comes later. When the inspiration strikes, you just need to be in the flow and taking it as far as you can, because like I said, you only have this one chance of hearing everything for the first time. Sit with the idea for as long as you can and just like put every idea onto the tracks, onto your paper or onto your memo or whatever, because that is a trail that will ultimately lead to a new song. And you know, what's cooler than that? But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you for hanging out with me. Hope you found this useful. Comment, subscribe, and have a great day. Bye.